Today is Tuesday, March 25th, and you're listening to the Beer Temple Podcast.
Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.
Hello, and welcome to the Beer Temple Podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike Shalau of Is Was Brewing, and I'm here with the other co-host and Fade Master for the day.
Yep.
If you couldn't tell already, Chris Quinn. Chris, how you doing?
Doing all right. Pretty tired.
Same.
Yeah, kind of stressed.
Doesn't sound like us.
Yeah.
With the fact that we've canceled shows because neither of us have any time to plan anything. But
Right.
We're here. We're ready to do it.
We're here. Yes,
We're
we are here. We're recording. And you're drinking a holy water, I see.
Yeah, I
from
brought
Mars.
that from home.
Oh, you did? Okay.
From the brewery. We have a 24 pack of them in the actual brewery that I just drink. Like,
Right.
Go through a 4-pack every other day.
Yeah.
Gotta stay hydrated, Chris.
Yes.
I came here on a non-recording day this weekend.
Yeah?
Stopped by on Saturday.
Oh, right.
Got to solve the question of which extremely popular beer style is better, English mild or Orval.
Yes. You were double fisting.
I'm glad Don Bixel was here before the show so I could look at the scan data between English mild and Orval and see where we got. But I was double fisting English mild and Orval. It was busy.
Yes.
I was standing.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it was busy. We were pulling a lot of mild.
Mm-hmm.
And you were also here on Thursday or Wednesday as well, weren't you? Before the show,
Remember.
you're about.
That
to...
might have been 2 weeks ago.
Oh, was it? Never mind.
That was Thursday 2 weeks.
It's a blur.
Was it or was it? I don't remember. No, I don't know.
I think you were right.
I think that was two weeks ago.
You're right. Yeah.
Before the Conor O'Malley show,
Right.
which was great here with Gage.
Yeah.
We had it was Tipo. That was Tipo Pills Day. Only come on
Days.
esoteric imported beer days.
Yes.
And I had a spicy take about it that you were kind of surprised by. In that I don't really like Tipo.
Right. Yeah. You said you didn't really like Tipo. I think in that instance, I liked the Tipo, unless I was mistasting the beers and getting them confused. I liked the Tipo more than the Pivo that day.
I guess the thing is it's not that I don't like Tipo, but because you guys always have Pivo on when Tipo is on, I have them next to each other, and I'm like, this just.
It was better.
And it might be like my dumb American palate being like,
No, I don't think
I like
so.
the crisp one better. I like the crispy boy better. I hate myself now. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels grainy and not quite as like vibrant as Pivo.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's how it was, and maybe I'm just I don't know. I just thought I had one of each. Back to back.
Yep.
And I like the Pivo better again.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think I would have guessed that would have been my take as well. And then I just probably an hour before you did the same, and I preferred the Tipo, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I would like to retract the statement I made that day where I said it tasted old and beat up. It didn't taste that way. I think it just wasn't as bright as the Pivo. So in comparison,
they were relatively the same age, too.
Right.
I mean, I guess one could have been more beaten up in its literal voyage, but
yeah,
probably not.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe
not that different, but I don't know. It just isn't. I think also there's that like your favorite pizza is always the pizza you grew up on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
That's like I had Pivo before I had Tipo, and so I was expecting it to be like this transcendent. I think the expectation is part of it too. I expect it to be this transcendent thing that it probably just never isn't. But you hear these stories about people like Matt Brindleson being so inspired by it, they make something like Pivo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was that it was just so ahead of its time that it hasn't changed that much, and what it was, 15 years ago was so different than any other Pilsner. But I don't know, like Rothaus, like Trumer,
right?
like all of those, I think are like, both of those I think are more vibrant. I'd rather have those than Tipo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I like both those beers more than Tipo as well. But, and again, it's all time and place, I suppose. And and the two glasses in front of me, I like Tipo more than Pivo. But yeah, I think a lot of beers are like that, where you just have these hyped beers, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. And
you have them, and they're still beers. I'm sure there's a lot of people who listen to us talk about Terrace Bulba or whatever, and they have it, and they're like, oh, okay. Beer's good.
Yeah. I think that's also one that wasn't like super hyped when I had it, as part of the reason, right? It just like sitting on a shelf, and I'm like, what is this? Right. And that discovery process is different. And then I found out later that it was as hypey amongst brewers.
I'm sure people have had Headhunter and said the same thing. After listening to us.
That's impossible.
Well, that's true.
Come on.
Yeah.
We got him right now.
He not get 5 caps? That's impossible.
Me not get 5 caps? That's impossible.
That's what Mr. Fathead says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tasting good.
Yeah.
That's 5 caps for sure. But did you do the side-by-side of Orval versus mild?
I did not, because all the Orval sold out before I got a chance to have one.
Damn.
So I didn't get any. I had an Oud Orval the next day. We had a little bit of aged Orval. Mm-hmm. So I had one that I think was like 4 years old, so very old.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's another beer that I really like, but it doesn't achieve the cult status to me that a lot of people have for it. And that's very funny, I know, to say as someone who bottle conditions a lot of things with Britannomyces. Yeah. But I really like that beer, but it's not me being like, oh, I got to have Orval on the desert island. And maybe that's partially because I do it a lot. And I don't make Orval. I'm definitely not saying that, but like I play in that world a lot, and a lot of other brewers don't get to play around in the sandbox.
In the kind of Brett sandbox? Okay.
Yeah, the Brett bottle conditioning sandbox, and so things that most breweries don't mess around with is my entire life.
Right, that's true. But then again, you could see, oh, okay, people are having a good time
Chi-Town, baby.
Yeah. Somebody who does that, dip their toe in that area, kind of as a result, having like more of an appreciation for a certain beer in that category that they're just so astounded by or something like that. So I guess it could go either way. You're just a hater. So.
I'm a big-time hater. Are there any beers, like, to kind of look at it from the other side of the lens? We've been talking about beers that we were underwhelmed by that are hyped up. Are there any beers that you've had that had hype, that you had them and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that lives up to what people were talking about?
The one that, let me think. The one that I'm thinking of, again, I had when it was hyped, but I didn't have any expectations of it, and it was just kind of like, here, try this. And that was barrel-aged Abraxas, and it like blew me away. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is so good. And we like had a bottle at our bottle shop because Perennial was up doing a tasting, and one of their brewers had come up and brought a bottle. And he was like, here, let's just try this. We weren't even doing Abraxas. We were just trying, like, tasting their beers. And I wanted, like, to keep drinking it and not let other people have it because I liked it so much. I'm trying to think, though.
I had, for me, it was Hill Farmstead beers, like, almost writ large. When I went up there, I was like, I can't believe they're going to be as good as these. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I had some of them, but going up there and having... And I left the pale ales for last. I was like, whatever. I've had hazy IPA. I don't really care. I've had the Vermont IPA. I don't know, whatever. The first beer trade I ever did was Zombie Dust for Heady Topper, and it underwhelmed me. The only beer trade I ever did that was not beer I made for beer that someone else made.
Okay.
But I drank, I think, Marie and some other lager, and I was like, damn, those are good. And then I had a couple of mixed culture beers, and I was like, whoa, those are pretty good. And then I was like, okay, I'll get back in line one more time before they figure out that I've had 6 beers when you're only supposed to have like 1 or whatever. And I got an Edward and a Simcoe IPA, and I was like, holy crap.
Right.
These
Those are great. That's great.
These are better than I was expecting them to be, and unique to themselves. And I think I've probably said this in the show before, but very obviously the source image that is the photocopy of the photocopy of the photocopy that everyone else's like hazy or New England style beers are.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this is the source.
Right.
And I'm sure that had something to do with being there too, both in the freshness of the beers and like the set and setting kind of. Like it was like it was like Memorial Day weekend or something. It was crazy busy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's ones that I've talked about on this show, but I can't think of them. I can't, and it's mostly because I can't think of something that I had that I was like super hyped to try. I'm just trying to think of what those would be.
I think Abraxas is a good one.
Yeah.
I think also part of the element of what we're talking about is that you can't have too high of expectations. Nothing ever lives up to your actual expectations. Right. Everything's better in like your brain, or in your mind, and that's probably what Tipo was for me.
Yeah. Right, and it's not the beer's fault, obviously.
No. Beer is what the beer is.
Right. Yeah. So, well, what should we talk about, Mike?
How many miles did you guys end up selling?
Just over 500.
That's so many miles.
That's a lot of miles.
So many
we ran
miles.
out. We had to run to our friends at Phase 3 and get more miles.
Second year in a row. They're saving the day.
I know. We owe them.
Did you? So I'm guessing we won the Sparkler.
We have retained the Golden Sparkler. I needed to put a social media together mentioning that, so I'll try to do that tomorrow. I've been...
How many did they sell?
To do. I think 300.
300. How did this thing start? I don't even remember.
They were doing March Mildness.
They've been doing that for years, right?
Yeah. And I said...
Which is hilarious.
I wanted to be a part of it. And then we arranged for me to get some casks.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be there anyway, so I was gonna drive out casks to them. This was last year. And I came up with the idea of us calling them out and having a contest for a weekend.
Yeah.
Because their thing is a whole month, typically.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let's do a whole...
That's kind of a lot for us, like a tap, like a shop and a bar to have versus like a brewery. It's a little easier for a brewery to be like, drink mild all month because we only have 7 of our beers on. Drink this one.
Right.
And for you,
and they even have like a mild. They do it pretty well. I mean, it's pretty clever. They now do a mild passport where you can go pick one up at any of the locations, and I guess they get those places to have mild on. I don't know if it's all month or for a couple of weeks, and then if you get your like passport stamped at all the places that have mild, I guess you will win something or mild master or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah.
How many mild masters do you have this year? Do you have any idea?
I don't. Like we don't keep track necessarily. I mean, they get their things filled out, but there was a bunch, way more than last year.
Oh, wow. So you guys are going to be eating it on mild this year.
Well, we just won't put any mild on for this year. That's what we do. So, yeah. Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, hopefully so, because it's because of them that we won. And I know Doug Valicki posted about, he thought it was just a really clever and fun idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's great.
Yeah, and some people were posting that Machine House. It's like Machine House has been doing this forever. Machine House has been doing this forever, and like they're the ones who first invented mildness.
Oh,
mild.
Okay.
They invented mild.
Yeah, right.
Drinking it in March anyway.
Sure.
because that was the year. Traditionally, nobody
where's
drank
Machine
miles. Portland, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe? I don't know. Somewhere
I
else.
know,
West
I
Coast.
recognize the name and that
Yeah.
them being OGs, but I don't remember. I don't know where they are.
But they're way into cask beer.
Cool.
So maybe even all cask. And so they started it. And Forest and Main had told me that they were the ones who invented it. And they were kind of taking it from them, and other breweries had too. Hold on one sec. I had to, sneeze. Probably should have stopped recording right then, but didn't. So, yeah, he commented on that, and some people were giving him the business, being like, I don't know, dude, Machine House been doing this for years. We're like, yeah, we get it,
Right.
dude.
Right.
Like,
It's one of those things where it's not like Machine House is here and like
Right.
you could go to Machine House's March Mildness or the Beer Temple.
Right.
And you're stealing their clout.
yeah,
Like,
someone's like, dude, old news, Google Machine House. Like, what a dick.
on TikTok they're saying this? No,
Yeah, that was the comment, or Instagram, or one of them.
hilarious. I mean,
So anyway, that's all the more reason to call out Machine House for next year, and then we're gonna have a leaderboard, and we'll have them go
that's
too.
great.
Yeah.
You only have one engine now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, get Stevie Hamburg in here to install a second engine. So you're gonna have
emergency
Machine House mild, Forest and Main mild.
Yeah, we could do phase 3 mild too.
Yeah, put them all on.
All the milds.
Yeah, you need at least three cask bowls, right? At all times.
At all times.
Yeah,
And then you can do blends, 3 threads, all
right.
threads mild.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Should do that. And I would like to do a leaderboard, frankly. I wanted to do it this year, but it just didn't happen.
You weren't busy or anything,
No,
were
I
you?
wasn't busy. Yeah, so that was this past weekend, and then coming up we have the Scratch residency. So
That's gonna be very cool.
I hope that goes well.
Very excited for that.
Yeah. Hopefully people come out.
I'll be here.
Good. I hope people are here. So yeah, we're doing 3 days.
Other than me.
Yeah, people, not person.
Oh.
I guess the staff. Would
You'd be here,
too.
right?
Yeah, I'd be here.
What are they doing for that again?
3 days, 3 different themes, one theme for each day. The first day is trees, and I think they have like 8 or 9 different tree beers on.
It's so silly, but it's so
Yeah.
amazing.
Did you see the beers that they're gonna have on? Did I
I saw the
Okay, the
time.
post.
Should we talk? Should we say what
hype
they
it
are?
up? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be over by a month by the time this. I mean, the last show hasn't even gone out yet. I just want
Oh,
you to know.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Whatever.
Yeah, I can look it up. I mean, if I can find my phone.
I mean, there's probably gonna be a hickory, birch, maybe,
Yep.
oak,
Nope.
walnut.
Yes.
Where do acorns come from? Oak trees, is that right?
Yeah.
Why are they acorns?
Oh wait, there is an acorn. Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
There is oak. Yeah. So there's a black walnut. There is. So yeah, it's going to be. So they're going to have a couple beers that are just going to be all 3 days. So there's going to be a cedar hickory leaf pale ale, made with Eastern red cedar hickory and hickory leaves.
Sick.
There's going to also be a green tomato farmhouse ale.
That's not a tree.
No, these are the all the time. These are going to be all.
Oh yeah,
all 3.
those are the flagship beers.
I guess. Day 1 trees, a black walnut lager, a sycamore stout, which is a Stein beer, also in cask, a wild black cherry. And when I say wild, I mean the black cherries are wild. They were foraged wild black cherries. A single tree hickory, brewed with hickory bark, leaves, and nuts. A barrel-aged hickory stout on cask. An acorn amber, also on cask.
God damn.
And a juniper sati. That's day 1. Day 2 is mushrooms. So there's going to be a hen of the wood pale ale on cask. That's maitake mushroom, hen of the woods. I didn't know that.
They're great. I didn't know that either, actually.
Chaga cask will be a dark ale brewed with chaga mushrooms.
good for your brain.
One of your favorites, Chanterelle Bière de Garde.
That is, unlike Orval, that is a desert island beer. For me.
Yeah. The Oyster Hefeweizen.
Goddamn.
GABF award-winning Berliner Weiss with oyster mushrooms and turmeric. Turkey Tail Brown Ale with turkey tail mushrooms and oak leaves. And then Black Trumpet, which is an amazing one. Oh, this is Black Trumpet Amber Ale. It's a different one. They did Black Trumpet Bière de Garde in the past. This is
That's probably
Amber
the same
Ale
thing, right?
brewed with Black Trumpet mushrooms, Elle Campagne root, and fig leaves.
They're just trying to get commercial with it, calling it an Amber
I
Ale
know.
instead of a Bière de Garde.
They know what's cool.
Yeah, right.
Day 3.
They have a pub ale. That's like that.
Yeah,
That's what they call
exactly.
it.
Cold lager. Cold IPA, I mean.
Hot lager, cold IPA.
Yeah. They're doing a Black Trumpet Cold IPA.
Sick. Yep.
But it's funny you
With
say that, 'cause
Sabro?
look what they're doing. They're in the wild fruit and berries day 3. They're doing a dry hop pawpaw beer. They're doing a Roselle wild cherry saison.
Pawpaws can rest in hell for how hard they were to process the first time I used them.
The wild cherry saison is a farmhouse ale brewed with wild cherry bark, roselle, and sumac berries. There's an elderberry amber on cask, a persimmon beer, dry hopped and lightly tart blonde ale with native persimmon, maypop. That's a native passion fruit, type of passion fruit.
You've got one of those on right now.
Yeah. Spice Bush Hefeweizen on cask, wild cherry Bière de Garde, and an Amaro ale on cask, which is an herbal concoction reminiscent of a bitter liqueur made with sumac, elderberry, cherry bark, coreopsis, sweet clover, Elle Campagne, and fig leaves. So that's that.
I mean, most of what I heard was money willfully fleeing my wallet.
Well, I think that the fact that they are doing it that way and that those beers will only be on those days are going to get people to kind of either, I guess, choose which day to come or come multiple days. So,
Yeah, I'm coming multiple days.
yeah, because you have to, I mean, I feel like you have to be there for the mushroom day.
Got to. And you probably got to be there for the tree day.
Yeah, the tree day, too.
And then you would probably want to be there for the wild berry
At that
day.
point, you're like, well, it's Saturday. I might as well
Right.
just finish it out with wild fruits and berries.
Right. I'm just going to stay here.
And they'll be here.
Between Tuesday through
Maybe
Saturday.
we'll get some guest...
guest takes.
Yeah, guest takes, guest bartending action.
Cool.
They're gonna they have some vintage tastings that I have to get, like some stuff going for. They're wanted to do some collab pizzas that I gotta do some. I mean, it's like so stressful, man.
Like every time I talk to you, you're like, I'm so busy. And then you're like, I'm also adding all of these other things.
No,
that I
these are just
gotta
things
do.
that haven't been done.
Right.
That's why I'm busy, but.
Well, right, but like just adding the pizza alone and doing March Mildness and Orval Day, and then being like, oh, and we're going to do these different, very curated 3 days, but then we're also going to do pizzas, and then we're going to do breakout sessions with vintage
They want to do
beers.
all the stuff, and I just haven't, and now I feel, well, I can't let them down. I have to try to do some of the stuff, but it's, it's a two-way street. It's not like they've been knocking down my door to get this thing lined up and pinned down perfectly. But
Right.
Anywho, yeah. So I've been doing that. That's coming up. It'll be nice once that's over because I can then focus on some like normalcy because we knew that mild followed by scratch was going to be two kind of heavy lifts kind of for us.
Yeah. Worth it, though.
Hopefully.
I mean, just for the straight cash that's going to be coming in the door. For these
Hopefully.
these hypey styles.
You're right. These hypey styles.
Yeah.
We're going to get a bunch of, tickers who want to get that acorn amber.
That's right.
They always want to.
It will be
have a
sweet.
campaign, whatever it's called. They love that
you
stuff.
You got to have. Oh, you got the one with the El Campe?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, dude. That's super rare.
Sick.
Are you going to be filling growlers?
No, I don't have any growlers.
What if I bring you a growler that I haven't washed in 6 years?
Perfect.
16 years probably is more accurate.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that, and then Yeah, the pizza freaking thing is like it's like killing me. So
That's good.
quite
That's what you wanted.
literally.
That's
I
what
think
you asked for.
very slowly killing me.
Yeah.
So
But the pizzas
yeah.
are good, and people
Pizzas are
want
good.
them, and they're buying them. I
They
came
want
in,
them, they're
I made a
buying
joke,
them.
This is what a successful business looks like, huh?
Yeah,
And you're
right.
like, temporarily.
Right. Today, they don't have a fucking chef. So yeah, it's just
You might
been.
have edit that part out.
It's fucking true.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe I'll edit it. I don't know. Yeah, so like our staff of 4 is down to like a staff of 2.
Yeah.
And
Which is barely a staff. You're almost down to just a guy.
right. And we have a replacement coming, but there's takes time to get these people in. And
Right.
This and that. And
So be
it's just
patient,
stressful.
you jackals. It's going to take a second to get your pizza.
Right. Right.
That's, yeah. By the time you hear this, hopefully you'll have been hired to
Yeah.
staff back up.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of growlers, we're making a beer.
Speaking of growlers,
We're making a beer with, I don't know if this is like public. I guess I decide if it's public knowledge. We're making a beer with Half Acre. Gabriel stopped by the brewery while we were bottling maybe a month ago and talked about making a beer together. And I was like, yeah, we would love to, but I want to make one of the pre-Wild Cove Saisons you guys used to make. They used to make like a Saison like once or twice a year.
pre-Wild Cove.
Yeah, the Wild Cove was like when they had like a mixed culture brewery in at Lincoln. I'm talking about when Lincoln was their only brewery. They made like a beer called Dripping, which was like a all Saaz Saison. Like kind of more the style that we do with like mostly just Saison Saccharomyces yeast rather than like mixed culture or barrel fermentation or anything like that. And the one I was like, I really want to try to make Long Thai double rainbow rye, which I don't think anyone remembers except for me.
I don't know.
It's a rye saison with Thai peppercorns, and so they found like the brew sheet and like the original recipes.
Okay.
Which I'm like I'm a much smaller. We've made way less beers, and we've moved twice. But if someone asked me to find the brew sheet for I don't know, window fishing, I'm like, there's no chance. Like, there's no chance. Like,
Right.
I don't know where that is. But they found it. It was, again, they sent them to me. So we're going to recreate one of those beers, but kind of with, like, our twists on them. But I have been kicking around the idea of doing growler fills just of those beers, just of that beer.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna do it because then you have to be like, no, you don't get the bit. You can't have a growler of Wilby, or like, then we have to totally change service for that. But like, if I had my druthers, it would be like, yes, we'll sell this only in growlers.
In growlers.
Yeah.
Growler.
It was the first
release.
way I had it. Like they were growler only beers before they had the tasting room. They didn't can. Maybe they did
growler only
maybe
beers.
Maybe they did bombers of a couple of them, but I don't even know if there were labels. There's label art. I don't think there's label art for this beer. I think it was think about this in imagine a world in 2012 where you can make a Thai peppercorn rye saison, 15 barrels of it, and sell it entirely in growlers.
Yeah. The
different world.
The past is now.
Yeah, the future is the past. The past is now. Time's a flat circle. I don't know. But yeah, I thought like it definitely wasn't the first saison I ever had, but it was like my kind of like the first like American like saison interpretation, and I have a sense memory of it. I don't know if it's accurate, but I thought it would be like a really interesting, fun exercise to be like, I remember this beer. I remember having an impact on me and being interesting and talking to you guys about it in the tasting room. And I want to see what happens if we make it now with all the things that I've just, like, all the opinions I've developed about Saison, and then put it in growlers. and have people like drink half of it and leave it back, put it back in the fridge, and
but
drink
this
it a
beer
month
sucks.
later, and get. They weren't even bottle caps when they were making this beer. This would have been a beer
Right.
advocate rate beer only.
Exactly.
That's going to be part of it. You can only rate it on Beer Advocate and rate beer. You
Well,
can't
rate beer literally doesn't exist anymore, right? Isn't it gone?
I don't know.
I thought it was shuttering. Maybe not.
I mean, I bet you can probably still go to ratebeer.com though, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Huh?
When's the last time you went there?
Never. Like, I never used it. I was a Beer Advocate guy for like about 10 reviews, and then I thought this was stupid, and I just put it all in a notebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
My own notebook where I wrote down my own tasting notes like a totally normal person.
Yeah, and your deepest thoughts too.
Yeah.
Every
about-
other page, the even paid pages were the beer, were your deep thoughts.
Yeah.
and your most, just your deepest, darkest, most secret feelings, and then every other page was a beer review.
Dear Diary, I had Tipo pills. I didn't really like it. That's my deepest, darkest thought right now. I can't tell anyone or else they won't think I'm cool.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Sure. Dear Diary.
When you started like taking beer seriously, were you checking things in on Beer Advocate, or were you taking notes, or was it just like,
I think I started with a little notebook.
oh, so I'm not as weird as you have a
then-
little diary too?
And then I think I would then transcribe them into Beer Advocate maybe. But I only did that a little bit.
For the clout.
For the exactly. I want a master ski to like me.
I was just thinking about that. That was something I remember talking to the Half Acre people that Master Ski was important. You wanted Master Ski to like your beers. And it's just like I remember that guy. I wonder what he's up to now. If you're Master Ski,
I saw him not
you
that
should
long ago.
send a letter. Is he still living in Chicago?
I don't think so, no. He might be back in Toronto.
He
was
had
from
like a
Canada.
composition degree. Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
from Canada,
Whoops.
that's for sure.
You can tell that beer's a little warm.
If you're Master Ski and you're listening, you can send your letters to insiders@beertemple.com. That's right? Nope.
It's wrong. Don't send it there. It'll bounce back. Or it'll go someone else. Craft Beer Temple.
Craft Beer Temple.
I couldn't get the Beer Temple or beertemple.com.
There's already a beer temple in Belgium.
Yeah, I don't know who owns the beertemple.com, but I own craftbeertemple.com.
Yeah.
So,
And then, or just stop by and drop a letter off.
yeah.
We'll definitely we'll find it.
Yeah.
Just smoked? What is this?
No, I think it's just a pub ale
Okay.
from our friends at Forest and Maine,
Pub ale.
our vanquished foes.
Literal losers.
Yeah. Yeah, so like my mind has not really been on beer. It's just been like constantly on opening up a friggin' restaurant.
Right, which everyone told you when you were doing it, it's going to be a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think even by their standards, it's been a little hairy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're doing something that's very, very cool and very worthwhile, and
Hopefully
it's
it
just the turbulence of takeoff.
I hope. Hopefully.
Okay, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
Fuck me, right?
I said I hope. I said that's not a fuck you. When I say I hope, that's it sure better be. Maybe I should have said that. But yeah, and then working with Pete is like we were talking about that. We've talked about that a bunch. It's insane. The guy's a madman.
Like you hear people talk about like this person's on a different level, and you're like, what does that really mean? And then you hang out with Pete, or you're like, oh, this guy does things very differently than I do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm fumbling around over here, and he's already like 10 steps ahead.
Right. Exactly.
Great dude.
Yeah. Good guy. Like it's been very fun working with him.
Yeah. But there's also like something with him where I'm like, I'm sure I can learn stuff from him, but so much of it just seems like you just move so much faster than I do.
Yeah.
And you're just like so locked in a way that like I don't know if I can ever be.
Yeah. Very locked in.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I don't have it. I'm just like a goofball that wants to make his silly little beers, and the only way to do it is to run a business.
Right.
And he's very obviously someone who should be running a business.
Well, the follow through.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the ability to like have all the thoughts. That's not usually my problem. My problem is then to organize them and put them down, and then kind of have the perseverance to kind of follow them through.
Right.
That's where I often crumble.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's like genuinely exhausting. Getting one idea from your brain out into the world in a shape where you think it's like actually fits the original idea and does justice to it,
right,
is a Herculean feat. And just to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well,
we do it, I guess.
There you go.
It's more of a Sisyphusian feat, I guess.
Oh boy. So yeah. So that has been people like. I've been told people like when I comment on just like my abject terror over things. They enjoy it. I don't know if it's from a Schadenfreude standpoint, but
I'm scared all the time, too.
Yeah, but boy, oh boy. So yeah, we boy.
What's the scariest?
I don't know how
part
much
of
I
it?
can. I don't know how much I should talk about, but boy,
What is the
been a
scariest
mess.
part of it? 'Cause it seems like it's been very successful. Like obviously, there's a lot of turmoil. Like not turmoil, but like turbulence.
we had a plan in place
yeah,
of getting stuff on board, getting the people on, getting them trained, and then
as soon as you
me
involve other
pretty much like then needing to like working on like the front of house stuff, watching the back of house, and kind of getting trained up like over time. And well, yeah, I mean we had to make a huge personnel change early on, very early on. I think I told you like when it was happening,
you told
and
me.
you were like, holy shit.
Yeah, like the thing you don't want to have happened happened right as you were trying to launch.
Right. And we were staffed up, and it was just like nightmarish. It was. I mean, it wasn't quite nightmarish. Is a strong word. It was there.
Nightmares
a
are dreams
true,
too, as you said to me
right.
on the drive right
It's
over
true.
here.
I was living the dream. But it was very much a complete and catastrophic collapse was definitely in sight. Like, and I don't even think...
So you think total failure was in sight? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like total, like we told everyone we were doing this, and now there's no way we do it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that.
I think, to me, it was. I wasn't talking to anybody else about that. I wasn't saying that to anybody else. But like, I was like,
you didn't say that to me. Yeah.
No. I had to kind of, yeah. So, because like everyone's doing their own thing, and it was like this is how it has to go. And then Pete is so damn busy, and he's got a huge, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's opening up a winery in Michigan.
Right.
He's got a wildly successful restaurant.
Right.
In Logan Square.
Apparently, they sold like 500. I went there before I came here, and they sold like 500 bagels in like an hour and a half or something. And that's just something. They're like, what?
That's something he added on.
I don't have enough going on. Let's also make 500 bagels.
So like if things weren't working out, it was just going to have to be something where it's like, well, we can still work together in some form, but we'll just have to take our name off, and it's just not going to work because I cannot put this much effort into it. So we're still on very shaky footing because of that. Now we're on much better footing now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we, something happened and I would say, it's fair to say, kind of screwed us over. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, okay, well, what do we do? And now I'm, sitting, being in a place where I probably, per our plan, would not have been in, ideally not for, let's say, 2 years. But let's say, being like a little more conservative, a year, or, kind of like a pretty bad case scenario, 6 months. And then I was in that scenario day
-1. Yeah,
Yeah. As far as people are concerned, I was there negative, -7.
Right. Right.
With a staff, with a
Yeah.
kitchen staff.
Right.
That I had to keep.
Right.
That was
And
already
to
paying.
Pay them. Yeah.
I was already paying them.
Right.
I had to give them hours.
Right.
I had to give them something to do.
Right.
I have never worked in a kitchen in that sense before.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, talk about, like, okay, I could see. And then couldn't you see someone being like, hey, man, I don't know if this is, like, I can't do it, man. This is too much. I can't ask. But Pete's been amazing, coming in and fucking ripping out services and stuff like that, but he can't keep doing it forever.
Right.
So, and I don't know how much of this I should even be saying, but whatever.
We can cut it out. We don't have to put this one out at all.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah. So, those are the things that are, but the, what do you call it? The North Star is, the concept is I think really
so
solid.
strong. People are responding to it, obviously. And to be honest,
Well,
like,
the concept, even before people were responding, I believe in the concept. Pete believes in the concept. But I think most importantly, I believe in the concept.
right.
And I think it can work and will work.
I mean, it's already. I mean, I know you're dealing with a lot of stress because of all the things that have happened, but being here on Saturday and watching people like
Enjoying it.
enjoying it and lining up because you were so busy, like,
Yeah.
it's already working. I'm sure it's not working the way you expect it or want it to be working right now.
Right.
But the concept certainly is working, and it's engaged people, which is like the
Yeah.
hardest thing, right? Like to get
Yeah.
people to actually care about the thing you're doing.
Right.
Like banging this stuff out and making sure that you execute well, that's hard too. But none of that shit matters if no one cares. You can execute
True.
as well as you want, but if no one cares to show up to get it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So people
Hungry
showing up
Hound
to get it.
came.
I saw that.
Hungry Hound was there.
I heard you had like the ultimate bite ratio or something.
Optimal.
Optimal.
It wasn't ultimate. It wasn't the UBR. It was the OBR.
OBR.
But it was amazing. It was fire. It was fire emoji.
Did he said it was fire emoji?
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, he typed it
The
was
hungry.
fire emoji.
Nice.
That's saying it in a way.
And you saw that, and that caused you an immense amount of stress. You're like, dang, we're busy again, and we're understaffed.
No. it
Welcome to
gave
small
me,
business ownership.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even like, we were so busy at that point. I was like, okay, whatever. And it was mild and yeah. So now we're, just going to have to see what we got going on. And just figure it the heck out.
Yeah.
Figure it the heck out.
Yeah. I mean, I know that wrestling with this beast of the kitchen since you opened has been very stressful and way more time than you wanted to put into it, but this seems like a very
It's not even the amount
place
of
to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even the amount of time. It's like the type of stuff that I
Sure.
was doing. Like I was in the kitchen helping out the staff because they were understaffed and needed stuff to do.
Right.
And I needed to be out in the front trying to tighten that down. And, people, my staff is then like, there's inefficiencies and, it's just we're trying to get stuff kind of battened down.
That's part of the problem when you open something successful. That's people want to show up to immediately, though, right? So you don't
Right.
have a lot of time to be like, oh, you know what actually works is like, oh, if we have a buzzer instead of these numbers on the table, or like if we have someone who's dedicated to run, like all those things that you have to figure out while you're doing it, while you're flying the plane. Other people are on the plane trying to get their pizza now.
Right.
It's like a different feeling than like, and that's like something I've been feeling too, where like now people are showing up to the tap room. It's very different. Ours is not quite the same volume or the same attention, but
But it's so much newer to you, too.
Right.
Like,
And well, I was talking to my therapist, but like, I've been running a business, my own business for 5 years technically, but that business was just me for the most part. And so like when it went from me to like even one other employee, it's like, okay, this is different. Then when it went from me to like, 7 employees and people showing up, expecting things and having like, where now we had a brand before, but like now you have a brand of service and a brand of what it's going to feel like and the brand of what it's going to be like in the tap room. And I still feel like we're getting off the ground, right? Like it, I don't know if it'll ever not feel like that, I guess, but there's the expectations that other people are actually paying attention and not just people that they're coming in. That's huge, but like people who rely on you for their paychecks and people who whose opinion about how you're operating your business has to matter now. I could do whatever I wanted, and if I was saying in the darkest times, if I failed and I had to shut the business down, I could just walk away from it.
Right.
We had put a couple $1,000s into it,
yeah.
and the fact that it was alive at all was a miracle. But now it's if I don't make this work,
people lose their jobs.
People lose their jobs. I lose my house.
Oh well, yeah.
There's real repercussions, and so not that we're gonna fail or anything, but you always have those thoughts. I feel until you're so far away from the ground where it's
yeah,
we couldn't possibly fail, or this it would take a catastrophic failure. I don't know, you see the ground, you see it, and you see, and mostly because you're looking down, we're well, how do I not fall down there? You are just kind of flying up into the air while looking down. It's it's hard to describe, but
what's that video game that they're kind of popular now where you are falling unless you're actively going up and you're having to bounce and go through obstacles and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it's like. You're falling until you get the money, and then you're going up. So and then you're spending money, so you're going down, and then you're bringing money in. So you're going down, up, and you're trying to you're bouncing to keep afloat.
Right.
But as soon as you stop, the gravity is always pulling you back down.
You have less gas at certain points where you're
well, that's what I was going to say. It's you also have to refuel and maintain and all that stuff while you're falling, and and not to be in any way, woe is me, but you're also going to have, and you may already have this, you're going to have to pick where you're spending your time.
Totally.
I also, frankly, lose energy. I lose energy and I lose, motivation to do stuff. Now, I put in full days. It's not like I'm, screwing off in the daytime, but,
right.
At night or maybe in the afternoon, especially if I ate a lot, then in the afternoon I start losing my, I'm not as productive, and but this is not the woe is me stuff.
Right.
It's so you have to pick where you're spending your time on, and then you're going to have people or employees or something who don't see that side of things and are upset because they don't know what's going on, or this thing is getting put on the back burner, or they think it is, and
right.
You're just you can't. It's not worth explaining because it's what are you going to do?
You could never.
You can't explain.
You could never. It's you can't until you're in that. You're the person in the seat, so you would never understand what this is like, and never understand what. I don't know. Never understand what you see as me being checked out is I remember that you had a problem with some people saying that. It's
I know what it looks like when someone's checked out, I think is what they told
right.
me.
And it's well, I don't think you do, because there's not a moment where I'm actually checked out, right? Even when we were talking, you and I were talking the other week about how I now have to sleep with headphones in because the thoughts don't stop. Right, the thoughts don't stop.
Yeah, you do that now too. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
What do you listen to? I listen to this.
Right, and it was this weird slow march for me of I used to and you're oh, I wake up at 3 or I wake up at 4, and it's not even my business is doing fine, but like you still wake up with these like, oh, I got to do this, I have to do this, I have this other thing, and so I'm like, I would put a headphone in and like I'd be like, oh, listen to like a stupid podcast and help me back to sleep. And now I'm just like, I just put them in now, like it's when you go to sleep, because like even sleep is not a respite from thinking about your business, you know, like, so I don't know, it's it's the path. I wouldn't do anything else. Like, there's no other thing. Like, that was part of, like, you know, during the last 5 years, there have been times where it was really, really hard. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just go get a job. And then I would do that for a week and try to be like, well, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, can't get it. How do I explain to someone what my actual skills are at this point? You know?
Right.
My skills are doing exactly what I think I need to do at any given moment.
Right.
If people don't want that for their jobs, you know.
Right.
They're what they're hiring for. I'm like, I'll get it done as long as you let me do it however exactly how I want to. They're like, no, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. Here's a funny story. On Saturday, we were going to expand hours because we only have 2 people, and the kitchen, when it's busy, needs 3 people, but when it's busy, it needs 3. Mm-hmm. When it's not busy, you can probably get away with 2, and when it's really, really slow, maybe 1. We haven't really tried that. So, and so we had 2 kind of like mercenary cooks who were going to come in on Saturday to help. So we'd have 2 in the morning, and then 3 for a little while, and then back to 2. And the first cook didn't show up.
Classic.
So it was just one guy. So I then popped back there. I was like, should we just... And I would have had him just come in later. So we had 3 people the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, great. Okay. And he's like, I think I can... This guy's... he's awesome, this cook. And he's like, maybe we can just do some slices. I could probably do that. I was like, all right. And then I'm looking out, and he's like, you know what? I mean, I can probably just do some pizzas for people if I'm doing slices already. And I go out, and we're like, all right, well, we saw some people, and they were mentioning that the kitchen might be opening. And I just heard, like, people like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I want some. And I went back and was like,
just slices.
Let's just do slices, dude. So we said, all right, we're just going to only do slices. Fucking people are putting in pizza's worth of slices. So just
of course they are.
Yeah. So we did
47
or slices in like 90 minutes. This poor guy, and I'm back there just helping him out. Yeah. So he's like prepping them, cooking them, taking them out. I'm just like finishing them, and then people are running them, and it's just like, okay, 6 pepperoni slices, 3 pepperoni, 3 cheese.
So just putting in pizzas.
Just putting in pizzas, but
Maybe you should just
just paying. I mean, the margins were good.
Hell yeah, brother.
But it's like, you know, it was funny. It was funny. Like, you know, you're trying to do this, and then we actually had to. The other cook came in, and we're like, okay, we'll get caught up. We'll just continue to just do slices.
Where was he or them? Where were they?
They weren't scheduled yet.
Oh.
The other, yeah, not the mercenary. We had another, one of our 3 cooks left because, and I did like a little exit interview, and he's like, no, I like it, and, you know, you and Pete have been great. It's just, you know, it's just so slow, man. I can't do it. And we were intentionally, like, doing this system where we would just, like, put menus out. Like, we weren't saying anything. We were asking people not to really say anything on social media, just putting out menus, just as, like, true trial stuff.
And this person, you weren't just like, just hold on. Like, it's going to be busy.
Well, at that point, it was... we didn't want him.
Got it.
You know,
yeah.
He was like, today's my last day. Oh.
He didn't give you any notice
thank you.
or anything.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Interesting for like someone in a kitchen to be like, this is too slow. Are they in the tip pool?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're in the tip pool. In a modified way.
Sure.
But But anyway, they were super busy that day. Funny.
Right.
Because then it actually started turning on, and
Right.
they're like, oh. But anyway.
Sorry.
But anyway. So it was, just funny. They were so busy that they actually had to shut down the kitchen entirely because people were putting in so many slices. We're like, when will we get full pizzas? Well, just they're getting caught up. They're getting everything stocked, so they're not starting out like already in the weeds. They want to reset, and but people were ordering too many slices for them to reset, so they had to like turn everything off for like a half hour, 45, just to be able to like go. And
One of those good problems to have, as people who don't own businesses tell you all the time when you're like, oh, we did this, and it's like, I never want to hear that again.
But there's like, the goose that laid the golden egg, and like the cooks are the geese, man. Like they're making this food. You have to keep these people fulfilled and happy, and you don't have to, you don't want to pander to them or anything, or be held, victim to their whims. But you also want people to be happy. And if you're just like, oh, just go through it, just grind it out, you two. And just rip them through a meat grinder, then they'll leave. And like, I can't afford. Like, so there you go. Like, I'm saying, oh, you think this really collapsed? What happens if one more person leaves right now?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Sure.
It's done. I close it.
Right.
I close it down and then see if Pete would be like, all right, well, let's try to get it going again. Or if not, be like, hey, man, I got other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe this wasn't meant to be.
Right.
So tomorrow, what if someone calls out? Or quits.
Yeah,
I mean, it could happen tomorrow.
Right.
So that's where it's like,
Yeah.
Stressful. And those aren't like, that's a worst case scenario. No, I mean, it happened to two of the four people.
But it's also so close.
Well, it didn't happen to two of the four people. It happened to one of the four people,
Right.
and then the other one was something different. But
But it's also like, like that's worst case scenario, but like, it's also like a very likely, like very possible, not likely, but very possible.
Yeah.
And so like it's
I mean, in 100 different scenarios, that happens. I don't know, maybe 10 times, maybe 5 times. I don't know. Maybe it happens 20 times.
So that's still like a high percentage of time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What if something happens where it's like I'm moving back to wherever I'm from? We're
already in like a timeline of like the 99th percentile of what happened with the head chef, and then what happened with the person quitting. Like that's already like those are two very unlikely things to happen, right?
Yes.
And so like, why wouldn't
at least one? The one, having one cook flake and be like whatever, I think happens.
That's high percentage.
Fine.
But the other one where like
yeah.
So we're already in the crazy timeline.
Yes.
Do you want to take a quick break?
Sure.
And then come back talk about beer?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it. All right. And we're back with Chris's Whining and Complaining podcast.
Chris's restaurant whining and complaining
Mental
podcast.
breakdown live on air or live recorded.
Listen, I'm trying to get the views, Chris. I'm trying to get the listens.
Right, exactly. Mike very, very accurately mentioned that this is a beer podcast during the break, so we're going to keep it to beer now.
Well, we are drinking a beer right now.
We're drinking a beer that was given to me by a friend. It's a Tree House, Julius, not King Julius.
So it's a trash Julius.
I'm going to say this. I had that King Julius.
Yeah.
I think Julius is better than King Julius.
Julius is really good.
Yeah.
I grew up in New England, and when I would go home, and I had friends that were much more into beer than they are now. They have kids and real lives and stuff, so they're not as into beer. But they would have fresh Julius, and they would have like fresh Trillium, and they would have driven up to these places because they're like an hour and a half hour from where I grew up. And every time I would be like, "Oh, this is the thing."
It's got my beer advocate. He put a piece of tape on it with my beer advocate name.
That's right
on there, Quincy.
You're famous. And there's something about this beer, and I can't even, as a brewer, quite put my finger on what it is. It's not bitter, but it's also not sweet. There's something happening. It's very citrusy, obviously, but
yeah,
there's something happening that's different than a lot of other brewers of this
Has
beer.
that yeasty flavor that a lot of those do. That kind of peachy, yeasty thing that those, the London 3 yeast. I'm not saying that they use London 3 yeast, but that kind of puts out. Which, people, it's funny, like, that was such a characteristic of those early New England IPAs, was that massive, like, fruity yeast character to it. It was so different, and it's funny when it becomes more ubiquitous how you kind of, like, don't notice it anymore.
You also kind of just, like, fold that into hop character, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that yeast does that isn't what hops do.
Yeah.
And it works in concert with it, but because we're like, well, hops are how we get the citrus, then you're just like, oh, well, that's got to be some sort of crazy hop they're using. And no, it could be fermentation with the hops. But again, I don't know how they're making this. I don't know what they're doing with it.
Let me ask you a question. If no new innovations, like stylistic innovations, and we can figure out what that means, were it to ever occur, would you still be excited about beer? Like, if there just were no new styles, like what we have is what we're going to be having. I don't know. That's not physically possible because things are always just changing. People are always going to make them a little bit lower in alcohol, a little bit higher in alcohol, and then over time they'll change. But, like,
Yeah, I think fundamentally, maybe this wasn't like a universal thing that was always going to happen to me, but at this point in my life, I love beer and the way it tastes, and there's so many beers now I can never taste them all. So for me, there probably would be stylistic innovation because I would have a bunch of things. If everyone had to make the things that they've already made over and over and over again and just choose to make the best ones or the things that they make the best, then I honestly might be more excited than people trying to chase things that they've never done before.
Yeah, geez. Like, now that could be interesting. If breweries had to only make 20 or less beers in a year. No, let's go back. Let's say
5.
Let's go with... No, let's go 15. 15 beers, I think.
15 beers in a year, only 5 at a time.
Well, here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking you have, like, maybe 3 core beers, maybe, and then you could have 1 seasonal every month if you wanted. That's still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I still, like, I wish I could only make 1 beer. Like, I wish I could just
So that's too many? You want to go down to, like...
Well, if I could just get away with making Wilby over and over and over again and making
fine, let's do it 5 beers.
making it as best as possible.
Screw it.
That would be more... Well, I say this now because I think we kind of have to make more. Like,
Well, I'm not done. So I'm coming up with a number, and then...
Okay, sorry.
So we'll say 5 beers, and we can adjust this for 3 years. You can only make those 5 beers for 3 years.
Yeah. Are you asking? Is the question? Would I be less interested in beer because that was how everyone had?
No,
I would be way more interested in beer for those years.
Yeah. I mean, boy, I think you'd see a lot. You'd see a lot. First, you'd see people really kind of hone some things. You'd also see people make. I wonder. They probably make some pretty weird decisions. So
that's what I was thinking. Like if it was if we had people on this show, maybe this is a question we ask people on this show, and then we say what we think they would do, and then they say what they would do, or like vice versa. It would be really interesting to see what we think their like the 5 core or main beers from a brewery are, and what they think their 5 are. There's some that would be obvious, but like. I don't even know if I could do it with like Half Acre. Obviously, Daisy Cutter's in there, but I don't know what after that you would be like. Oh, obviously they're making this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the scenario. This kind of doomsday scenario. So it's like, and after
it's
3
exciting.
years,
It's a celebration of life. It's not a funeral.
after 3 years, yeah, then you're going to get, I don't know, some sort of,
If you did well enough, you get a power up.
yeah, right, a ranking or something. So like they have to figure out, well, that's not. You have to think about the marketplace as well. But my hope would be that somebody would kind of choose to just kind of zag a little bit.
Do things that you don't think they would be known for. That they think like this.
Well,
is one of
we
our
don't want.
5.
So what we don't want to have happen. Now, what someone could say is, you know what? You don't realize this, but we were in the multiverse, and this has already happened, Chris. This happened in 2018. Don't you remember?
5 is a good number.
When everybody just made hazy IPAs, and you hated it.
Right.
So, like, that did kind of happen when everybody was making stouts and hazies.
Yeah, but the decision making is different. This is like what would you go to war with? I guess maybe the hazy is, but let's not. I guess we can say not sales. That's kind of the main driver.
I was going to say, like, if it's only what you're going to be judged on, but no, I mean, you can't do that.
5 is tough. I'm trying to do the 5 for what we would make, and
is 15 too many? How many do you make in a beer in a year?
I have no idea.
More than 15?
If you count like beers that are the base and then conditioned with Brett, definitely more than 15.
No, that doesn't count.
We're probably still over 15.
All right, well, let's say then you have
8, 6. We're about 6-pack.
How about 4, 7?
7.
3, like that gives you like 3 year rounders.
Yeah.
And then 1 quarterly beer.
1 quarterly seasonal. That's good. All right.
So you can do 3 year round and then 1 quarterly seasonal beer.
Okay.
Man, that might be like
That's really good.
that might fix craft beer.
We might have solved it. We might have solved craft beer.
Yeah. Maybe 3 might be a little small. Maybe you can go 5 year round or 4 year round. 4 and
to keep it small.
4 and 4.
Keep it small until it's too small.
All right.
Okay, I think we could do that. I can probably do those. The 3 year rounders are obviously
So what would the Sierra? Let's go. What would Sierra Nevadas be?
pale ale.
Pale ale, year round. Hazy Little.
Hazy Little.
They would definitely do Hazy Little.
And I don't even know
Torpedo?
Probably Torpedo.
I guess. So they have Pale Ale, Torpedo, and Hazy Little.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're guessing.
Okay. And then their seasonals would be Celebration. Bigfoot. What else then? I mean,
Narwhal?
I don't think so.
They haven't made that. That's what I would want them to make. I don't know what they're making.
Sure.
So what seasons are those?
Maybe
So
Summerfest
Celebration
and
is like
Keller
when
Weiss. I don't
Celebration
think they
is
make
winter.
either of those two either right now, but you know.
Celebration is harvest time going into the winter.
Yeah. Bigfoot
would be coming out of the winter like Q1.
Yeah.
Got Q4 and Q1.
And then you could do Keller Weiss maybe and Summerfest.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would drink all of those.
I mean, it's pretty. That's a good lineup then. If
Yeah.
you can only do 3 year round, they have Pale Ale, Torpedo, and Hazy Little.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what would Three Floyds be? The year rounds are easy.
Probably be 3 Zombie Dusts
Zombie Dust, Gumball Head,
and Cenotaph.
You'd hope that they keep Alpha King. You'd
Yeah.
hope. They probably wouldn't really, but they should.
Maybe
And then the year rounds, or the 4 seasonals, what would they be?
Rabbit, obviously, the Saison.
Yeah, the Saison. Drunk Monk.
I mean, Dark Lord,
obviously. You have to have the Dark Lord.
Dark Lord. I don't even know what other beers
Behemoth,
they make
maybe?
anymore. Behemoth, barley wine.
Yeah, they make so many different beers nowadays.
Like I would have said, like
They just came out with the West Coast IPA they're coming out with. It has a name of like otter something, like the mammal, the aquatic mammal.
they're really butting into.
Yeah, Laughers might be
Yeah,
pissed.
Laughers.
Dude, it's really good.
Yeah,
Really good West Coast IPA or West Coast Pale or something like that. Very good, surprisingly good.
probably a pale if it's from them.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't know if they're holding true to that anymore.
No, they probably throw an IPA on some stuff.
Yeah. I don't know the other two even for them anymore. So let's
we're
pick
out.
another one. Let's pick another a brewery that that we know and love. You want to do? I mean, should we just keep it Chicago or should we go somewhere?
Maybe Rev. Could we do Rev?
Sure. So you have
So 3 cores: Anti-Hero,
Yeah.
Cold Time.
Oh, more than Rev Pills, huh?
I think so.
Okay.
I think maybe. I mean, it's one of the 2 of them, right? But it's not both of them. Do you think it's
Yeah.
both of them?
Probably not. No, probably not. So
What do you think? It's.
I think
Pills?
it's Anti-Hero. I think it's
I think
Rev Pills.
I think Pills becomes a seasonal in this scenario.
Ooh, okay. So
Or do
it's
you
Cold
think-
Time.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can be talked out of it.
yeah. What's the third year round? It can't be Pills and Cold Time. There's no way.
Is it possible it's Death Star? Like
Year round.
yeah, they're just putting out a unadjuncted barrel aged stout year round.
Or it could go 3 years.
I think they could. Like, if anyone's going to pull that off, they can.
Okay. So then it's Death Star, and then you have like Straight Jacket, Rye Way, like their barrel series. Are
just
there 4?
the whole seasonals are just the barrel series.
One every year, one every season. Boom, boom.
If this was like
boom,
3 or 4 years ago, it would definitely have been like a Freedom series. But I don't know if they're not hitting those at all anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, one of if we're only accepting one of Cold Time or Pills,
No, you can do both.
then one of those goes into seasonal.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
And then are we allowed to do like a rotating hero beer?
No,
Okay, so
that's it. This is the
Whatever-
exact opposite of that.
whatever, right? Whatever data says is their best hero beer would also have to be a seasonal, right? Like,
Yeah, that's a great call though.
right.
So you do one, and then people go nuts when it comes out
Right.
every year.
It goes, yeah, they go crazy.
Bells. All right, what's bells?
Bells. Two Hearted,
Of course.
I think, and then also Two Hearted for like the year rounds.
So it's Two Hearted.
Yeah, Lager the Lakes.
Okay,
Do
Lager
you
of
think?
the Lakes.
I'm just saying. Do you think that's actually what?
It's an amazing beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Amber Ale. What are we doing?
right. No, I don't.
What
I
are
don't.
we
I don't
doing?
think we can. I don't think we can do that. But it is so funny that you think of like for me, it's their seasonals are so much easier than their year rounds in this case.
Sure.
Let's start with the seasonals.
I don't know. So what are their other year rounds besides Two Hearted?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, Amber Ale. I guess. I mean, I don't know. A Kalamazoo Stout.
Yeah, that's not going to make the top. I mean,
Yeah. Double Cream Stout. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
all right, then what are
Lager of the
the
Lakes.
what are the seasonals? Hop
Well,
Slam.
Hop Slam. I think you could go Expedition, maybe. Well, let's think about that. Oberon, obviously,
Yeah.
is their big one.
That might be a year
Oberon.
for them.
Right, but can they do that? I mean, so fine. Then that probably would be. So it'd be Oberon.
But they haven't done that though, have they? Is Oberon? It's not
No.
available. So like that has to be a seasonal.
Okay.
Like because of just how they
Yeah.
like, even they are like no.
Yeah.
That is a seasonal. beer.
Okay. So there's Oberon, there's Hop Slam,
Mm-hmm.
there's Expedition Stout.
Probably, yeah.
And then you could go with, I don't know, maybe like an Oktoberfest, or you could go with You could go with like a Black Note if you wanted to. That seems like such a limited release, though. You know.
Yeah. That third seasonal is or fourth. We have
4 seasonals.
4 seasonals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It's hard. It's hard to get to to know what. I feel like breweries would know what their lineup would be.
Of course.
And then maybe not. I don't know what ours would be. There's all saisons, so they're all seasonals.
Right. Exactly. And then you look at some of the Belgian breweries, and they just have 3 or 4 beers.
Orval would be like Orval.
Orval, and Orval, and then they would just release more Orval seasonally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We may have fixed craft beer by you're only allowed to do 7 beers a year.
Yeah. Now, what you would miss out on are the super special beers, like the Black Notes, the things like that, just wouldn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need.
They just go away.
It's part of what we need.
Right. Yeah. Maybe you get 1 special release a year too. That seems fair.
That's fair.
So you get 4 seasonals, 3 year rounds, 1 special release. Mm-hmm. That can change every year.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Sure. I mean,
hey,
you're making the rules.
Black Note comes around every who knows how many years.
Sure.
Right. Goose would do obviously Bourbon County, but maybe once a year they do a special version.
I can't think of the rest of what Bourbon County. Well, what rest of Goose Island's
Matilda, I think, should be a year round.
I mean, sure, agreed.
It's a good beer.
What would they think? It would be 3-1-2. IPA.
And Matilda, probably.
Honkers.
Or Honkers. Okay.
Let's put Honkers in there. Hopefully they did like that.
The Matilda.
Matilda would be like a seasonal.
I'll take that.
I don't know after that, though.
Wait, you didn't say Bourbon County is one of the year-round.
Bourbon County is a specialty release. Or that's a year-round. Yeah, that's probably a year-round.
I'd say they make that a year-round.
Or a seasonal.
Variants could be their seasonal.
They don't treat it like a year-round beer, though. They treat it like a special beer.
Well, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to
Can we do one more brewery, and then we have to stop talking about this forever
sure.
because no one's listening anymore?
Yeah. What's the last one?
Well, let's think. What's the last? What's the last one?
It's just like Trumer.
You have Trumer. Trumer has a new beer coming out, which you hate.
I am a hater.
And I like.
I'm a hater.
Huh.
Just generally, I'm a hater.
Yeah, you're just
and genuinely a hater.
You're generally a hater.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't like things.
We both agree.
Yeah.
That you are a hater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, we don't have to go any further.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I do like that idea. 3 year rounds,
mm-hmm.
4 seasonals, one special release that. And for your seasonals, can you change your seasonals each year too if you want? You have 3. You don't have to do it for 3 years. So no, you can't.
The core beers have to stay.
Core beers have to stay all 3 years
for sure.
I think your seasonals have to stay all 3 years too.
Agreed.
Your special release you can change up every year.
Yeah,
that's how beer should be. It should be a modified version of that. Maybe not that strict, but should be the mentality. That you're diverging from,
right?
This 2 every week, 1 every week. We are getting away from that, but that's really hurt craft beer overall. I think
totally. I think it was part of the fuel that got it into the stratosphere, but ultimately it is what hurt it.
Yeah.
Well,
we fixed it.
Well, we fixed it. If you have a 7+1 for a brewery that you really enjoy, send it to us. Like a brewery you love, and you can think of 3 beers they would make year-round.
If you're still listening,
yeah, right.
Guaranteed. If you send this, we will read it.
We will read it. Send us your 7.
Yeah.
For your favorite brewery.
Yeah. Well, all right. So now we have to pick one. Now we have to do one of what we wish it would be for a brewery. I'll give. All right.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I have this in the bag, but
All right.
let's find out.
Okay. So I pick. Will I pick your brewery? Or
You pick his was.
no, no, not your brewery. I'll pick a brewery for you, and you can pick one for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Got to give me one that I kind of know.
Sure.
I'll give you. I'll give you a great one. I'm going to change mine up.
Okay.
I'm going to give you New Glarus.
Ooh, okay.
That's a good one.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of meat on the bone.
I don't know if I can give
a lot of meat
I
on the
don't know
bone.
if I can reciprocate with as much meat by anything.
That's okay.
Okay. New Glarus. You got to go Spotted Cow. Moon Man.
Those two are, I think, obvious musts.
Spotted Cow, Moon Man.
What's the third?
I got to go Two Women.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my favorite.
That's a great. Now you have a blonde ale.
It's a farmhouse.
a lager.
Show some respect.
Sorry, a lager and a pale ale.
Yeah.
I mean that's
solid.
Solid.
Seasonals.
Solid as a rock. Seasonals.
Staghorn immediately.
Okay.
Now it gets tough. I really love Fat Squirrel.
Yeah, Fat Squirrel's good.
There's so many good ones though.
So
I think the Pilsner that they've been making recently.
just the Pilsner. It's called. Yeah,
It's just called Pilsner.
Yeah.
That would be like the kind of like a spring or summer seasonal. And then I gotta go with like one of the like Wisconsin Belgian Red or something, like one of those.
The
fruit
fruited,
beers.
right?
Gotta throw them in there, or should that be like the specialty?
No, you're not throwing Dancing Man in there, which might be the greatest Hefeweizen north of Texas,
Yeah,
maybe south of Texas,
yeah. I mean,
or
maybe it's
not
Dancing Man.
including that Texas.
They also like Totally Naked and Bubbler were our bangers.
Totally Naked is great.
Okay,
Dancing Man
let's
is
go
so
Dancing
good.
Man, and then let's do the specialty as the fruited beers.
Okay, so then like Wisconsin Red comes out once a year, and people just lose their mind.
Lose their shit over it.
And then the next year it's Serendipity,
Yeah,
and then the next year it's the Strawberry Rhubarb.
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That's how it should be, too.
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if I can. I don't know if there's as much meat on the bone for any brewery as what you gave me. That was really good.
Yeah, I had a different one that was pretty meaty, but then I thought of that one, and I was like, oh, I got to go.
All
New
right.
Glarus for you.
What about Russian River?
Got it. I thought you were going to say Firestone Walker. That's what I had for you.
Maybe that would have been better. Okay,
But
you want to do
I got-
Firestone Walker instead?
No, you gave me
Okay.
Russian River.
All right.
I don't know them as well. So it's Blind Pig, Pliny, and I would say ST Pills.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got to go younger for the seasonal.
Sure.
No, or is that the specialty every year? They do a drop of younger.
But then you're locking yourself into the same specialty every year.
So?
But wouldn't you rather just do that every year?
But you have the
as a
whole
seasonal
wild
and then-
program. So you could do 4 wilds. So you could do
But wouldn't that
like,
you rather have that be like the specialty?
1 wild? No. I think
Okay.
like I'd rather have like supplication, temptation, beatification, and I think those are the 3 that I really like.
You don't have to do only sours.
Temptation. No, I know. Temptation, consecration, supplication. I think those are the 3 that I like. It's the Pinot one, the other red grape one, and then the temptation one is the one with it's a blonde that is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the 4th, see, I don't know their repertoire like amazingly well.
My bad.
That's okay. Then I'll go Beatification. That's their lambic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do Younger as their special each year.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So you got
All
an amazing... IPA, an amazing double IPA, and an amazing hoppy pills. Mm-hmm. Like,
Basically,
I would just crush.
all pale beers.
All right, now we'll together, holding hands and staring into each other's eyes,
Why
we'll
would you hold
do
my hand?
Firestone Walker.
Okay, Pivo.
Yep. Union Jack.
Union Jack.
I mean,
Pale
this is
31.
ours. These are ours, so we don't have to do 805. I
No,
say we don't.
We don't have to do 805.
I say we leave 805 off.
805 can kick rocks.
Yeah. We could do DBA. We could do...
I think we gotta do DBA.
Okay. We could
Unless
do
you can
XBA. I love that XBA.
That's a seasonal beer, though. We're drinking that
Right.
in the winter? Yeah, we're probably drinking that in the winter.
We are drinking in the winter. I'm drinking that beer all the damn time.
All right, let's swap out
Union Jack.
Union Jack,
We're doing Union Jack, Pivo, XPA.
XPA.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Then seasonals, you can go DBA.
DBA. We got to throw one of the barrel age series in there too.
Yeah, but I think you should also do maybe Wookie Jack.
Ooh, yeah, Wookie Jack for
Get
sure.
Wookie Jack as a seasonal.
Uh-huh.
You could
Could
do.
we get Pale 31? What's the temporal nature of this
I don't
thing?
know. I don't know if.
What if the beer they haven't made in 8 years?
Yeah, I don't know if that will fly. But we have 2 seasonals, and I think we can get. I think you can get some barrel aged stuff.
Yeah,
from
Sukaba.
and Parabola.
Probably Parabola over Sukaba, but
Okay.
if we're going to do both of them. And then what's the specialty? It's probably one of those too, right? Or is just like a...
Yeah. It's true. Well, we probably want to do that, and then
Or do you want
one
to do
of
like
their
the
other
crazy like
ones.
watermelon thing they're releasing now, though?
No, we're not going to do that for
Okay.
right now. Yeah, like what? So we'll do like Parabola is their special drop every year,
Yeah.
and then we could do for them. Yeah, what are the other beers we want to do?
805 would be one of our seasonals.
Right,
805 Cerveza.
Yeah, like what?
Unfiltered DBA.
No, we have DBA. I mean, we could do something like. I mean, do we want to go? Do they still do like Double Jack? Does that
I don't know if
still
they still do
exist?
Double Jack. I mean, there is like the STS and like Pivo collaboration beer.
Like Mind Haze or
Mind Haze is pretty good. Does Mind Haze have to be one specific Mind Haze if it's seasonal? Okay.
it's just one.
I don't
that
know if
they
I have
pick.
like a single Mind Haze where I'm like, that was the one.
Right, but some of them
But
were insane.
That's it. I mean, probably go with Mind Haze because they're unlike anything
Yeah,
else.
they're very, very good.
Yeah. So whatever the best Mind Haze was.
So a Mind Haze,
yeah.
and then a Parabola is a seasonal, I'd say.
Okay.
And then we get a special, and we don't know what that is. We literally have no idea what that is. So
We
whatever.
just let Matt
Bryn will say-
cook.
Oh, anniversary ale.
Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blend. It's a different blend
Yeah.
every year.
Absolutely. I wasn't
Anniversary
sure
ale.
They still
Bang.
make that. I haven't had that in
There you
years.
go. And we get Wookie Jack.
Do they still send that here? Anniversary ale?
I think so.
In bombers?
Yep. Only in bombers. No, it's not in bombers. No,
How do they send it here then? 'Cause I
in
feel like I haven't bought that in a long time.
small bottles.
12 ounces?
Yeah, 500 mils, I think. No, or I don't know. I don't know. Why you making me say things about my own
I mean, you just own a
shop.
shop where you
Oh,
send
no.
it still. Uh-oh.
We have limited space remaining.
Okay. Sounds like we should end the podcast.
Yeah, we're almost out of our SD
Okay,
card.
6 more breweries.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this show. We're under a lot of duress here, guys. All right, so just back off. But we're going to come up with some actual shows, I promise. We have to do some because we have to submit for the podcast awards and show everyone how good we are.
Yeah, this is the episode.
The all
we're submitting
banter
for sure.
episode.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Mike, for
Thank you,
for
Chris.
coming on, and again,
Yeah.
allowing me to for being my therapist, among other things.
I think I just caused more problems for you.
Probably.
Yeah. The worst therapist in the world.
Thanks everyone for listening. Shoot us your I don't know what you would pick a brewery.
Yeah.
Pick those
shoot us
7.
your 7.
Yeah, you're 7. Shoot your 7. You're 8 really. 7 plus 1.
7 plus 1.
And thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you sometime. I'm not just lining this up so I can get a perfect fade. Goodbye.
Remember this is what we
Nailed it.
Remember this is what we said. To never be heard, seen from again, 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 again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard, seen from again, 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 again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard, seen from again, again,